Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Living in the Miracle. And today I have my dear guest, Brian Swift, and we are joining this powerful conversation. Brian, welcome. And can you please share a couple of things about yourself and what you're doing in this beautiful world?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Um, so I live in Illinois, just give people an idea. And every day I love waking up and making it a good day. Whether that is, working, whether that is meeting with clients, whether that is projects around the house. I just look forward to getting up every day and having an opportunity to make a difference. So I've been blessed in a lot of ways, and I can go into that story, later, because what you don't see. And I worked in corporate for 25 years, and then I started my own business with coaching and speaking, and then through John Maxwell. I'm a certified John Maxwell speaker and coach, and I wanted to have more freedom, like everybody does, to balance life and to do more things on my terms, like most of us do. I don't think that we mind working. We just would like a little better balance in our lives and a little more control. So that's why I after spending 25 years in corporate, I started my own business coaching and speaking. What people don't see though is when I was 17, I broke my neck playing football, and I'm a quadriplegic. So I've spent the last 40 years living my life from a wheelchair and been blessed to do so many things in life. But it hasn't come without a lot of sacrifice and a lot of growing and a lot of developing certain, especially mental characteristics that allow me to deal with what life throws at me and still be able to move forward. And that's what I teach. I'm all about the mindset. So the mindset is so critical. And I enjoy getting people who just don't have that belief or faith in themselves, or they have that self-limiting doubt, or they're doing things that are sabotage. They have that self-sabotage behavior, and helping them get to where they want to be and feel like a rock star. That is an awesome transition, and it's not easy, but it's doable. Because this grit mindset isn't something you learn in school. It's something you have to go through and experience and work on every day, so that when you get those things that bombard us all, they bombard you, right? All these negative things that bombard us, that we learn how to deal with them and function.
Oh my God, so much to share. Thank you so much for telling all of that. First of all, I just want to tell you that I admire you, because a lot of people, when, like they don't realize, like I always say, our health is our biggest wealth, right? A lot of people
Absolutely.
are complaining about like trivial stuff, and they do not know how to deal with something what you have to face every day. And I can just, I bow to you, because this is something that, like it requires a lot of strong mindset in order to wake up every morning and be positive and truly looking for the miracles, right? Rather than just complaining and saying, like why this happened to me. And this is just to bring that awareness, because a lot of people are living in that victimhood mindset, where all the time they are saying, oh my God, like my boss is horrible, my job sucks, my partner doesn't understand me. And it's all about talking about other people, how bad they are, rather than just going within and start with yourselves. Because
Exactly.
in order for us to see different life, we have to change within. because whatever we experience in our reality is whatever we are projecting from our inner reality, right? And a lot of
Absolutely.
people don't have that awareness because, like you mentioned, Brian, they never taught us this in school. And for a lot of people, it's very difficult to understand what this is all about. And for a lot of people, they still cannot comprehend how the mindset actually runs their life, right? And that's why we come on these podcasts. That's why we are always there talking about it, right? And brainwashing people to the point when they start doing something about it, right?
Oh,
Because a lot of people can watch, they can consume, but if you are not doing anything about it, nothing is gonna move the needle.
right. And if you look for problems, you're going to find them. If you look for miracles, you're
Exactly.
going to find them. So it's about how you wake up every day. And we all have problems. Just because I feel blessed and am optimistic doesn't mean I don't have problems. It means I choose not to let them consume me, and I learn how to deal with them and confront them without it ruining my day. That's my choice. So choices, people don't feel they have a choice to be happy because they have problems. They do. They have a choice. You can still be happy and have problems. One doesn't have to affect the other. Just because I'm in a wheelchair doesn't mean I should be grumpy and mad at the world. Now, some people are. I just choose not to be because there's so much beautiful life to live. I choose to go attack life.
You know what? And I salute you for that because, like I mentioned, right, a lot of people, they don't realize how blessed they are. Every day they wake up, they can run, they can do everything, they can see, they can hear, they can think. And this is something that I want to turn the awareness to. Like you are blessed. Each one of us is so blessed. And
Absolutely.
and I really invite you to start counting your miracles, because everything else is our choice, like you mentioned, Brian, right? And then it comes to our choice and decision. Do I want to show up in this world as, like somebody who has something to give to this world? Do I want to show up as the person to uplift somebody else today, or am I going to show up as that miserable person that always complain about everything and looking for others to feel bad for myself, right? Again, it's our choice. And a lot of people just are not conscious about it.
Absolutely. And it's not just that simple either. It's who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with five negative people, you're going to be negative. If you surround yourself with five people that are lazy, you're going to be lazy. You have to surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be. You have to surround yourself with the kind of people you'd like to be. So I surround myself with people that are even better than me at things and happy, and they're motivated and they're inspiring, because that's the way I want to be.
Yes, absolutely. And this is our job, to inspire others and for others to start looking within and realize that, hey, life is the miracle on its own, right? So every
Absolutely.
morning wake up and just have the intention to look for these
Yes.
miracles, because these miracles are always around us, but it's our job to notice that.
Absolutely. And like I said, if you're looking for good in people, you'll find it. If you're looking for the bad in people, you're going to find it. And our minds are just so wired. Actually, we have approximately 70,000 thoughts a day. Out of those 70,000 thoughts, 80% of them are negative. Out of that 80% of negative thoughts, 90% of what repeats in our subconscious are the negative thoughts. So if you think about the way our people are wired, we're bombarded with negativity. The news is negative. Everything, TV's negative. Everything's negative. Our thoughts are negative. So our subconscious starts to become negative. We don't even realize it. So you have to be very in the moment and conscious to learn how to change the way you think. You look at the words people use. You listen to somebody negative, you're going to notice they use negative language a lot, and that they're just creating a negative mindset, a negative self conscious. that doesn't mean that people who are optimistic and positive, their life is perfect. It's not. We just choose to view things differently. It doesn't mean we ignore the problems. It doesn't mean we don't have them. It just means we learn how to deal with them better and still see through them to all the good things we have going on in our life.
I love what you shared, Brian. So, if I ask you, Brian, what is one of the miracles that you would love to share with us? Can you please talk about it?
Sure. So something that totally changed my life. So I was 17 and I was just playing football in the park with my friends and I broke my neck. And I went into the rehab facility down in Chicago, Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. That's what it's called now. And it was in January. So I was just turning 18. And being 18 and being in a wheelchair and not being able to move your arms and legs and feet, it's 17 and 18, you think you got the world, right? I've played a lot of sports, I worked, my girlfriend, life was great. And my dad came up to visit me and sat down at the table, and I must not have been in a good mood for some reason. And after about 5 minutes, he stood up, walked over, got his coat on, came back over and said, if I come up here to visit you and you're in a bad mood, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to stay here and be here if you're not smiling. And then he stood there and he said, it is your job to keep this family up, to keep the family happy. He said, if you're smiling, everybody will smile. He said, if you're up, the family will be up. It's your job to keep this family smiling. So when I come up here, if they're not smiling, if you're not in good spirits, I'm going to leave. He took off his coat, sat down, we had lunch, and that was it. Now, some people may think that's kind of harsh, but you have to kind of know my dad. And I just took it as like I wasn't going to let my accident break up or ruin my family. I wasn't going to let it become this weight that made everybody's life difficult. And after he said that to me, all I've ever asked for, I've never asked the good Lord to help me walk. I've asked to give me the strength to deal with everything. Just give me the strength, give me the wisdom, give me the courage to move forward. And I've been blessed to do so many things that people in wheelchairs supposedly shouldn't be able to do. Especially back in the 70s, early 80s. And so what are those things? Go out and work full time. I learned how to drive. I went out and I worked full time. I got married when I was 27. I have 3 kids. I live in a nice house. I've started several businesses. I've done things that people just don't do. I've done triathlons. I've got the movement of my arms to a big degree. I have no hand movement, but it doesn't stop me from doing too much because I'll find a way to do it. And I've been blessed. But that conversation, that 1 minute of my dad saying, it's your responsibility to keep this family together, it just like woke something up inside of me that has driven me ever since.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful that you're sharing, because a lot of times, like obviously when something happened negative, we want, like our emotions to be thrown on somebody else. And a lot of people are living in that, reaction state of mind. So they want, and especially who gets hurt right away? The immediate family, right? Because people are not gonna do this to the strangers, right, or to the friends, right? Usually,
Exactly.
it's like a close people, right? Somebody that we know that can forgive us for whatever we are doing.
Right.
And I just have to like really say that I admire you for like really registering this in your head, right? Understanding that your dad wants the best for you. And
Yeah.
like although we are going through some things in life, we all do, because this is the human experience. but it's all about how we take it and what is our attitude to that, right? And
Hmm.
again, it comes to the choice. Do I want to blame somebody, and do I want just, like, burst out in all these negative emotions and give it to somebody else? Or I know how to handle myself, I know how to take care of my emotions, and I know that I can actually have anything what I want in my life, because I am driving, right? I'm driving my life rather than allowing somebody else to do that.
Absolutely. And some people allow their disability to drive their life, and I choose not to. Don't get me wrong, it affects me. There are things I can't do. But there are a lot of things able people can't do because they're mentally paralyzed. And that's a new book I'm writing. It's I'm writing a book on unparalyzing your mind, because so many people have this paralyzed mindset that doesn't allow them to go out and live and thrive and have fun, despite the fact that you're in a wheelchair, despite the fact that maybe you lost a limb. That's not the end of the world. I've been blessed to do so many things despite the wheelchair. And it's just the way I choose to live. Life's too short. We're here a blink of an eye. And there's so much great things out there to do, um, outside of helping people and having a purpose. I get up every day with a purpose. And that is such an awesome feeling. And sometimes I achieve that, and sometimes I fall short, but I'm always moving forward. And I'm just so blessed to be able to do that. But it takes a lot of work. It just doesn't happen because you change your thoughts. You've got to work at it. It's something you work
Hmm.
at every day, not just mentally, but physically you work at it. Um, some people, I'm willing to pay that price because I'd rather spend my time here feeling good and happy than all these days feeling sorry for myself. Like, I don't have time for that. And my parents would never allow that. There was no sitting around feeling sorry for yourself. I know, I just didn't. I was lucky. I had good friends. I had strong faith with my mom, and just kept moving forward with life.
Yeah, this is so important. So that brings me to the question: how did you all start it? Like right now, you shared with us the story that, like, you were in a negative mindset, and your dad just said, like, I'm not coming back if you're gonna be in this kind of mood. So what happened for you after that? Like, can you just walk us through your life experience, and how did you really realize that mindset is everything?
You know, I watched a lot of people around me, and not just people with disabilities, but anybody. And I really wanted to understand why are some people so happy? Why are some people not happy? And I love sports. So I started coaching when I was like 20 years old, football, young kids in football. And why are some kids so good at what they do? Why are some kids so mentally strong? And then I started to go to seminars, you know, whether it be, like a John Maxwell seminar or Tony Robbins, and see, why are some people so motivated and so driven and some people aren't? And what, so I really love just, it's all about the mind. It's not like these great people, even great athletes, some of these great athletes are not real big and huge. They're just mentally tough. What makes somebody mentally tough? And I studied that. And I don't know if you've ever heard of neuro linguistics programming,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that I practice and I've learned. And it is really just about our minds are malleable, which means we can mold them. So, can you change a negative mindset? 100%. You can. And I did everything I can to work at creating just this $1 million mindset for myself so that I could do all the things that supposedly somebody in my condition couldn't do. And I just said, I'm going to go finish my education. I'm going to get a job, going to learn to drive. I'm going to, and I do a lot of reading, and then I do a lot of working out. And the more you do and the more you accomplish, the more confidence you become, the more confident you become, the more you're willing to try. And I'm okay if I try and it fails. And it's one of the classes I teach called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. So we're used to saying sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right? That's how we've always kind of looked at life. Well, I have a class I teach called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn, because you don't lose if you are learning. So I may not have succeeded at something, but if I learned something, I haven't lost either because now I'm smarter and I've learned a lesson and I've learned something. So I haven't failed in 15 years because I'm either learning or I'm winning. That's just the way it is.
I love it so much, right? Exactly. It's a great mindset while saying I'm not a failure, it's just the feedback, right? And it's the lesson for me to learn. When we come with that kind of attitude, like we see everything in a different light, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So, anything else you would love to share with the audience? Because, like you mentioned, like mindset, it's the work. A lot of people want to, and obviously, it's easier when you have somebody by your side because
It
to
is.
be by yourself it's super hard, right? That's why like people make these new year's resolution goals and like within the months their drive is gone to the zero, right? Because like even comparing to when people have to go to work, sometimes they don't feel like doing it but they push themselves because they know if they don't show up they're going to get fired or they are not going to get paid, right? So there is something, the repercussion to that, right? So the idea is that when we have that choice whether do it or not, it's our human nature that if we can actually escape doing it, we are gonna tend to not to do it, right? We are gonna tend to avoid doing it, right?
Fight or flight,
So
right? If it's high,
yes,
fight or
exactly.
flight. It's human nature.
Exactly. So it's so important to have somebody by your side, right? So accountability piece is such a tremendous thing, right? And
Absolutely.
have somebody who already walked that walk and succeeded so they can actually show you the way and say, hey, you are not alone because alone is a very difficult walk.
Well, and that's where faith comes in because when you have faith, you're kind of never alone because I always know that for me, you know, that there's something a higher power looking down on me. But even if you think about it, even great athletes have coaches, right? I mean, you would think, why does a Michael Jordan need a coach? Why does this ball player need a coach? We all need that accountability because we all need somebody to look in and give us a different view at what we're seeing and what we're doing. So, if you don't, whether that could be a friend, it could be a teammate, it could be a family member, or go out and hire a coach, hire an accountability partner. Um, do what you have to do because we all know our weaknesses. We all kind of have an idea where we need help. And it's easier when you do it with somebody else. Like your goals. Tell people what your goals are. When you tell them, you kind of put yourself out there, and now they're going to be like, "Hey, how you doing on that?" And you're going to be like, "Oh boy, I said I was going to do this." Now you hold it. Now you're accountable to do it. So there's a lot of little strategies you can use um, in pursuing that. Making yourself better tomorrow than you were today, and making yourself a better, stronger mindset. Like I said, I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of exercising, and I surround myself with people that are better than me, so that I can become better than me tomorrow.
I love this. And that's so true. Like, we cannot see our blind spots. We
Exactly.
always want somebody. It's interesting, like, like it's easy for me to point out when I'm working with the clients, something that they do not see. But
Yeah.
yet, I also require somebody else help to tell me what's, like to
Yeah.
manage my mindset. Although, we think that, okay, we got it. No, we do not. Nobody does.
Right.
And it doesn't matter on what level of awareness we are standing, still there is more room to grow. And
Absolutely.
like And like that's why I think it's so important for people to tune into something what we are sharing, because it's more powerful than just watching the news. It's more powerful just scrolling, without intention, the social media, because rather than taking something that it's not going to change their life,
Right.
listen to something what we are sharing, because this is so important. And it's not just to enroll you with us, but for you to
No.
start really pondering upon, like, am I living the life that I meant to live? Like, what am I here for? And what kind of change can I make? Because when people start working on themselves, they become the inspiration for the people that are surrounding them. Because let's face it, like in my circle, I do not have a single person who understands what I am doing and who wants to partner with me. But that's totally fine. That's why you have to surround yourself. That's why the community
Right.
exists. That's why the internet, like the miracle of the internet, like people can connect with all over the world with somebody who
Yeah.
really thinks like them, somebody who has similar goals. Because when you are staying in that, in that community, and people have similar goals, guess what? These goals become very easy to achieve because you have somebody by your side. You have people that believe in you, even sometimes you do not believe in yourself. So it's very important. And not a single person becomes successful without having somebody next by them.
No. Well,
Maybe a lot of
yeah, I have not done what I've been able to. I couldn't do it alone. I, I couldn't have done it
absolutely,
alone.
we all cannot do it alone. And a lot of times people just don't have that awareness, they just don't know about it. Sometimes people are watching somebody successful and they think, oh my god, they are so lucky, they were just born under the lucky
Okay.
star. But let me tell you, the lucky star, it's not enough just to be born. Everybody has to work for it, every single person. Somebody in the, like higher degree, somebody in a lower degree, depends, right, where we are standing on our life path. But again, there is a lot of work involved, and they are not doing this alone. Even like you mentioned, Brian, like for sports, like for these athletes or for these champions, they all have, besides their,
Yes.
sport coach, they all have the mindset coach, because
Absolutely.
everybody knows that the mindset is 95% of that success.
It is.
So it's just, like I just love that conversation, and it just bringing the awareness to the people that, stop blaming somebody else, start understanding who you are, and start taking the charge of your own life.
Absolutely.
Right, stop giving that power to somebody away and making it excuses. That's what I always say, like that's why when I work with the clients, I tell them, this is your story, I do not believe in that story, and let's just, reframe your mindset, and let's create more powerful story.
Yeah, and they can if they choose to, because life is so short and there's so many great things out there that people should want to take more control of their lives and invest in themselves. People go out there and they'll spend $8, $9 on a coffee, 2, 3 times a day, but they don't want to invest in a coach, or they don't want to invest in, books that make them better, and things of that nature. And we have misplaced kind of our priorities on what matters. And if we all make ourselves a little better, the whole world becomes a little better. If we all make ourselves a little nicer, the whole world becomes a little nicer. And it's just something I think we all have to do.
I love what you share, especially, like investment in ourselves. People really, a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people understand, okay, I invest in stocks, I invest, in something financially wise. But let me tell you, when people invest in themselves, the rate of return is so much higher. It's like tenfold higher what you can actually make in the stocks or any other investment or real
Absolutely.
estate. Because once you understand who you are and what you want in life, you're gonna, like really uh, gain the invest, whatever you invest, when you're gonna gain so much in return, and you can actually propel in your entire life, and you can put yourself in the level that you never even dreamed about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brian, it's such a pleasure to have you with us. Any last words that you would love to share with the audience? And obviously, they have all the links for you. I posted everything. I posted your bio, your links. So if anybody wants to contact
Yeah, reach out
Brian,
to me. You know what? I love talking with people. I love working with people. I try to limit the amount of people I work with because I want to really invest in the people that want to invest in themselves. So, change your mindset, go out and do something different. If you don't change, nothing will change. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
So, if you want something better, if you want something different, you have to go get it. Reach out to me, reach out to yourself. We've had other great conversations. We think very similar, and it is the way you want to go through life, feeling better about yourself, waking up with a purpose, waking up feeling good, even though maybe you got a hard day ahead of you. It's just a moment in time, but this is all just a way of thinking, and that can be changed. So I want everybody to go out and have a great weekend and just enjoy themselves and sit down and decide, do they want to be better? Do they want a better tomorrow? Do they want to be happier than they are? Because once you become that way, you can help the people around you become that way. And now you create a great community around yourself.
absolutely. And I love everything what you shared. And I just want to add that let's create miracles because they are always
Absolutely.
there, right? And let's just notice what is miraculous today happened with you. And even by you tuning into this podcast, and I appreciate everybody who's watching right now or whoever is going to watch the replay, just treat it as the miracle because there is a message for you in this podcast that you meant to hear today. And this is the message that might change your entire life. So continue just going through that. And Bruno is just saying that. Bruno, thanks for joining. Jim Brown, you work hard on your job, you make a living. That's true. That's what he said. You work hard on yourself, you make a fortune. You
Yeah,
don't make $1 million, you attract $1 million. It's not
that's
heaven,
it.
it's being that $1 million version. Yay, let's go. Thanks so much, Bruno,
Absolutely.
for tuning in. Yes, and like I said, just treat that podcast as your miracle. And think about the messages that you receive because there are no coincidences in the universe. You meant to tune in, you meant to watch it, and you meant to change your life. And now it's up to you. The decision is yours, the choice is yours. We cannot do it, we can help you, but you are the one to decide for yourself. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much. Thanks so
Well,
much.
thank you for having me, and you have a great day.
Absolutely. All the best. Take